Are they on?
Yes.
Okay. So get your first card ready. A little closer to the
You
camera.
gonna clap or no?
I'm gonna clap, yeah. Ready? Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Do you remember your father's parents?
Unfortunately, I have no memory of my grandparents. My grandfather, Louis Bader, died on the eve of Rosh Hashanah in 1944, 4 years before I was born. And my grandmother, Bertha Holder, died in 1951 when I was 2 years old.
Did your father often speak about his parents?
Actually, my father almost never spoke about his parents. There were no stories about their lives in Eastern Europe, no stories about their passage to America, no stories about their early struggles on the Lower East Side of Manhattan, and there were no stories about their lives in Auburn, in the borough of Queens, where they raised 3 children.
How do you account for your father's reticence?
My father was a very practical man who saw little value in the past. He was firmly focused on the present or the future, so there was little room in my father's heart for sentiment.
Weren't you curious to learn about your grandparents?
I was always curious, but for some reason, the subject of my grandparents never seemed to come up. Unfortunately, it wasn't until after my father died that I decided to seek answers to the simplest questions I had never asked.
How did you learn about your grandparents after your father died?
My search began in the late 1990s, before the internet became widely available, and genealogical research had to be done the old-fashioned way, by visiting archives in person. So I went to a branch of the National Archives on Barrack Street in Lower Manhattan in search of some very basic facts.
What information enabled you to positively identify records about your grandparents?
That's a very good question. I quickly discovered I would need more than their names when scrolling through old documents on microfilm. How could I tell if this Louis Bader or that Bertha Holder was the one I was looking for? Then I remembered a comment my mother made one night at the dinner table many years ago. She recalled that my grandfather had once lived in a town called Atania. She didn't say where this was exactly, and she probably didn't know. But in sober tones, she told her children never to forget the name of this place. Although we never spoke about it again, Atania became the key to answering the many questions I had about Louis and Bertha Bader. Okay, you can stop. Let's hope I got it this time. I'd like to run through it one more time because I flubbed a little bit. Then I'll set up.
Making a mistake in what you say is a very natural thing to do.
Maybe it makes it even seem less
real.
rehearsed. Less
Yes.
rehearsed.
People often
Yeah, as long as the
stumble.
mistake isn't, as long as it's clear that it's not, I'm reading the line. Now let me play this back and see if I've got it this time.